Welcome to the second episode of our FASTCAST. I am Miss Moshefi, your assistant principal at FAST, and I have the honor to facilitate today's conversation. As a reminder, the purpose of this platform is to create space for meaningful dialogue where we share our thoughts and ideas, we learn from one another, and grow through the voices of our peers and members of our community. This episode today is going to be led by you, our students here at FAST. Many of you are here because you have meaningful questions about what it means to serve in the military, and some of you have family members who are veterans themselves. Today is an opportunity for all of us to learn, to honor, and to hear different perspectives. We're also very fortunate because we have a very special guest joining us today, our very own Mr. Brooking. He is the 8th grade ELA teacher here at FAST. He's a veteran who has generously agreed to share his experiences and help us better understand the courage, commitment, and sacrifice that comes with serving our country. In addition to Mr. Brooking, I also have 4 other amazing individuals with me today. Lily Catherine.
Hi.
Raymond.
Hello.
And Lewis.
What's up?
Who are scholars here at FAST. I also have Mr. Hendry with us in the room, who, without whose support, I could not have made this podcast possible. So thank you, Mr. Hendry. Our goal today is to create space where curiosity is welcomed, stories are respected, and gratitude is expressed. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our first question. Mr. Brooking, what does Veterans Day mean to you personally, and how is it important in your life?
I think when I was in the Navy, that was really the first time I understood that even though we sort of don't always agree with each other, even though we have different opinions, and we're entitled to those opinions, and that we have these rights. We are Americans, and as Americans, we have the right to our opinions. And even if we don't always agree with the other person's opinion, we always respect their right to have that opinion. And that's, I think, one of the things that makes this country special.
Yes. And to that, I feel that it is because of the brave men and women who serve our country so that we have the freedom to have those opinions that, we have to be grateful for all of that. What are you guys' opinions about, especially Raymond? I know your father is a veteran, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what does Veterans Day mean to you?
Veterans Day is a very honorable day to everyone who has served in the military, and I feel like everyone should support one another as we are Americans together. We have our own rights, and we should just be honored that we have so many people serving our country. We should give love to the men and women who serve.
True.
That's what I truly think.
Okay. Anyone else? Do you have any thoughts on Veterans Day? What it means?
Yes. So adding on to what Raymond said, it's about respecting the people who fought for our country and just about freedom and rights and just everybody in the Navy. Like, for example, Mr. Brooking, respecting him and everything he's done for us.
Okay.
And just overall, everyone who was a veteran. And yeah.
Okay. Lily Catherine.
What it means to me is that we appreciate the people who have served for our country. And I just thank you, Mr. Brook, for what you've done for us. And it's a very big deal because you help our country, so do all of the men and women who do in our life, like our families, our friends. And that means a lot to everybody, for most people. And we just really appreciate it, and I thank everybody who's been in it, especially my family.
I like that. And you have veterans in your family as well, right, Lily Catherine? So did you want to lead us into our next question?
Yes. What lesson did military life teach you that you still carry today?
I guess there are really 2 things that I learned learned while I was serving. One, I did not really think that I was going to make it through boot camp, and then we had school. I'd go to the submarine school as well, and that was really, really tough. And I worried that I was going to fail at this, but I discovered that you cannot fail until you give up. As long as you keep trying, you haven't failed. You just haven't gotten there yet. And that kind of got me through those times. And then just in a very practical level, I learned how to be organized. I didn't really, as a kid and a teenager, I was scattered and very disorganized. And the military taught me how to keep my things where they belong and take care of my stuff.
I like that. And I appreciate when you said you cannot fail until you give up. That is a very interesting life lesson that I bet you carry with you throughout your entire life.
Absolutely.
I love that. And so on that, how does that resonate with you guys being scholars? The idea of you cannot fail until you give up, just like in a word or two. Like, does that resonate with you? Do you agree with it?
I agree very much because you can do whatever you believe, you achieve.
Yeah.
And, people that have achieved so much, they just have been believing in themselves. They have been truthful to themselves, and they never gave up. So if you want to do what you want to do and someone's telling you shouldn't, just do what you want to do, honestly.
Yeah. As long as it's within parameters and doesn't, overstep in anyone's rights. Yeah, I believe that. Yes, go ahead.
What that means to me is how you carry that through your life, and that's a great saying to tell yourself. And I hope that I carry that with myself for the rest of my life, and that maybe you just inspired these students at FAST and these parents who want to join or who are thinking about it. So thank you.
And even just in your daily life, I think that's a very inspirational thing to have in our mind. Yes.
All right. So, Mr. Brooking, what are some ways military service impacts family life, and how do families support their loved ones who are serving?
Well, the quick answer is the absence, the absence from your family, and that's tough. It's really tough to be away from the ones you love and your friends and family. So that has a huge impact on both the veterans and the families that support them. And I would think the family support for me comes down to empathy and having empathy and understanding. Serving, especially in combat, can be really tough, and so trying to put yourself in the veteran's place and understanding that with these sacrifices, there are going to be moments when you really need to have empathy for the people who are serving our country.
What's something you wish more people understand about veterans and their families, Mr. Brooking?
I think it's the level of commitment that it requires and the level of sacrifice. Most of us, we tend to not see the wars that we have. We tend not to understand America, because we're a leader of the world. We're pretty much always involved in the military is pretty much always involved somewhere at any given time. That's been the case in my life. So, but people don't really tend to notice it until Veterans Day. So we sort of take it for granted because we're not making, like in World War II, people were making sacrifices. People had victory gardens where they had to grow their own food, and there was rationing. But these days, most people aren't really impacted by it, by war or military action the way you are, in giant wars. So I get just the level of commitment it requires to be constantly ready is important.
That is, and I like that you addressed that there is now a almost a disconnect between how very important service is, the military service is to the lives that we lead, and that we do sometimes forget that there are at any given time brave men and women who are creating the opportunities for us to live in a free and peaceful state. Now, Raymond, did you have a follow-up question with that for Mr. Brooking?
No, I do not.
Well, how did you want to ask him how maybe as students we can support You had posed that earlier.
Yes. Mr. Brooking, how can students in better honors or support veterans in our community?
I thought about that for a minute, and honestly, there are so many services for disabled veterans that need our support. We have lots of disabled veterans over the last 2 or 3 decades from actions that we've been involved in the Middle East and the Near East, and there are disabled veterans who really need our support, and not emotionally but also financially. When we can do that, there are a lot of organizations that help these brave men and women, and they really could use our support.
I love that. And I do have a follow-up question to that. Now, as students, as a school, we have always written letters to veterans. We have created artworks for veterans. Is that an impactful way to show them that we appreciate them?
I think when you're isolated and in places that maybe you're not comfortable or home, or you're separated from your family and loved ones, it's pretty amazing what a difference just being known, being seen, and feeling like you're being seen. So sure, that's I think that's something, and people enjoy it. They just enjoy sitting around with these letters and comparing them. So yes.
Okay, I like that, because I know from, having been a teacher, our students put a lot of thought, a lot of love into those letters, into those drawings. So I guess we can continue with our first steps, right, Raymond? And then we can look into how we can further, as a school, as a community, support our veterans in our communities. Any thoughts from our young people about anything before I move on to the next question?
I definitely think those letters will impact them, because my dad told me that everyone wasn't that nice, to be honest. And he made a few friends. They unfortunately passed in battle.
Rest their soul.
And it really impacts someone when they know someone cares about them, like Mr. Brooking says. Because I know it means a lot, even though I haven't had the experience to. Because just knowing someone is there can mean a lot.
Yeah. And I think at its core, empathy is all about that, right? We don't have to know someone personally. I don't have to know everything about you. But if I can, as a human, step outside of everything that I am doing, right? And still show you that I see you, that I hear you, that I care about you. Again, even though I don't know you, I think that is how empathy really works. Because it's easy. I know you guys, right? I know the people in this room. I care about every single one of you guys, and I love every single one of you guys. It's easy to show empathy when we know people and we have a personal connection. The real test of our humanity, of being a true empathetic person and a world citizen, is to step outside of that and say, well, I don't know this person, but I'm going to still give them grace, give them love, and give them my attention. So yes, go ahead, Lily Catherine.
I enjoy writing those letters, and hopefully the people who receive them do. And I know it's hard for people, for the families that go and they're serving. It was hard for me when my uncle was going around and serving, but it really made a big deal to these people. And I also like hearing stories from my grandpa, who has served in the military, and I like hearing them, and his face just glows up when when I enjoy them. And I also love how people write those, and later on in the future they become somebody who served. And even though some people passed and have a fear of that, what I tell you, go out there and stick up for yourself. because you got this.
Okay, I like that. Very nice. Any thoughts from you, Lewis?
Yes. So I don't think this is just my opinion. I don't think people understand how much those letters actually mean to the military, because they're out there fighting for their lives, fighting for our country, fighting for us. So just one simple letter like "Thank you, I appreciate your support" means the world to them. And again, this is just my opinion, but you know, from even just from a random child, family member, that'll mean the world to them.
Yeah.
Just getting a simple little letter.
Yes.
And overall, just and about Veterans Day, I think people don't understand. Like, I think people just think that Veterans Day is just supporting or thanking our fellow veterans, but for me, I think it's more than that, because the thought of just people actually going out there and fighting for us, you know, some people have died, some people are, like Mr. Brooking said, are like wounded, and just that's just and they're fighting for everybody. That's just crazy.
Well, it's brave because these are human beings. These are individuals who don't know us, right? They don't know us. They don't know who we are, what we think, what we value, but they have this common cause, right? Justice, freedom, freedom for us to live the way we want to live, to have the education that we have, and to have the opinions and the thoughts and the ideas that we have, right? So in a way, that is the ultimate act of empathy in a way, right? Empathy is bravery, because I have to be able to say, that person I don't know, but I'm still going to do this for them, right? So I like that you brought that up. I love that very much. And I know Mr. Brooking has to go back to class, so we're not going to tap too much into his time, but I do wish to pose this question, Mr. Brooking. What advice would you give to young individuals who may be thinking about joining the military and serving their country in any way? Or if you could share one message about Veterans Day with our listeners, that would be great.
Service is a huge sacrifice. There's just no way around that. There are long hours of tedium and fear, and it's tough, but it's also an opportunity to serve something larger than yourself. And if you're the kind of person who wants to be part of something bigger than themselves and to contribute, then military service is going to be a good way for you to do that. Nothing that's ever worthwhile comes easily. And certainly service is not easy, but it is something that can be worthwhile and in your life. That's really all I have for that.
That is lovely. That is a lovely
Amazing
way to bring our podcast to an end. If there are no more thoughts or questions from Mr. Brooking, we can go ahead and close this session off. Thank you so very much for being. Yes, Lewis.
I just want to say thank you, Mr. Brooking, for taking up your time to come talk about this, letting everyone know what Veteran Day really means. And thank you overall.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Brooking. Thank you, Raymond. Thank you, Lily Catherine. Thank you, Lewis.
Of course.
Thank you, Mr. Hendry. And thank you, everyone, for listening to the second episode of our podcast. Until next time, this is Miss Moshefi. Children, you did great. Thank you so much.